My high school soccer coach once told me, good leaders recognize the unique value each member brings to the team. Building off this idea, I will be sharing a lesson with all of you that you can apply to your approach to coaching this season. Then, I will outline some specific steps that you can take to make this aspirational goal a little bit easier. So let's dive in. The lesson for coaches today is take time to make meaningful connections with each member of the team. Let's talk about why this is important. In the United States, youth soccer is becoming increasingly competitive, but well developed players can move on to the collegiate or even professional level. In order to reach these opportunities, many young adults need a coach that believes in them and is invested in both their individual and team success. High school is especially important because it's an extremely informative time for young adults. Whether the athletes play for their school or a club team, a great coach can have a lasting impact on their growth and development, both as players and as people. When I was a teenager, I had a coach, Mike, that was especially good at developing close connections with each of his players. He helped me reach my peak performance as an athlete and also helped direct me into making better personal decisions in my life outside of soccer. Not only was he able to make a connection with me, but he was able to connect with each girl on the team. Let me give you some examples. When I was 15, Mike wanted to form his own elite soccer club. He partnered with one of the local soccer clubs and offered his branded program as an option for players seeking more opportunities at an elite level. Naturally, he attracted the top players from the local team, but he knew that he needed to bring in additional talent in order for his program to take off. That's where I come in. I had known Mike previously from my elite club at the time. He knew that I was somewhat frustrated with how things were going there, so when he started to form this new program, he reached out to me. We met for coffee and he laid out his plans for this new program. Throughout the conversation, he asked me questions including, what do you want out of the program? How do you think I could make this better? What can I do for you to convince you to join? At the end of the conversation, he asked me to consider leaving my current club to become a leader in establishing a new team in this new program. He said that he valued my extensive experience within the elite soccer space and knew that I had important insights in what would work and what would not. After considering his offer for a few weeks, I decided to take a leap of faith and join him. I felt like I was special and would be a key contributor to my new team's success. Little did I know at the time, but Mike had also had individual conversations with each of my soon to be teammates. With every teammate, he highlighted a unique way in which she could contribute to the team's success. For example, Nora acted as a social connector for the team as she knew many of the different girls joining. She helped with unity and cohesion, planning fun activities to get closer. Mandy was one of the most technical players. She could lead the team in developing foot skills and understanding the tactical aspects of the game needed to compete at the next level. Michelle had an incredible work ethic. She would be able to lead the team through fitness activities and provide a standard at practice for us to aspire to. We each felt like we had a key element necessary for our team's success. We felt like we were all members in Mike's, quote, in group, a concept that I'll explain in a bit. Over time, Mike continued to consult with us and delegate tasks and responsibilities to each of us based on our strengths. He would regularly meet with both us individually and as a team. We began to trust and respect him and each other as teammates. I felt like I could turn to him for anything because he had taken the time to check with me, learn about me, and help me grow. He cared, and all of his players knew it. So when things began to happen in my personal life, as they often do in teenage years, it was very common for me and his other players to turn to him for support. My sophomore year of high school, I hit a particular low. Due to a combination of bad decisions, my confidence was down and many of my other relationships were compromised. But Mike provided consistent, non-judgmental support and helped me find healthy outlets and avoid bad influences. He checked up on me regularly. He assured me everything was going to be okay. As a teenager, when my world seemed to be crashing down, He was there, and that is something I will be internally grateful for. Because he believed me, I didn't because he believed in me, I didn't want to let him down. I worked harder at practices and I went to extra practices. I ate healthier. I was more motivated than ever before to make sure that I was giving back to our team because I knew that they were there for me too. And it put me on the right path for more success in the future. This is just one of the countless incidents where he was able to step in and connect with a player. There were girls on my team going through all different types of problems at home and at school, but soccer became their outlet, and Mike was like a father figure. He took the time to connect with each of them, and their loyalty to the team was heightened in return. In just a year from first getting together, our team and Mike's program as a whole excelled. More and more of his players attended additional training sessions and sought out new ways to better themselves as players. We became competitive with some of the best teams in the state and had fun while making such tremendous progress so quickly. Mike nailed my lesson for leaders. Take time to make meaningful connections with every member of the team. As highlighted in my story, there are some very specific tasks and steps that you can take to begin making these meaningful connections. This process is especially helpful at the beginning of a season or when you first begin coaching a new group of players. This approach, based on research, follows the idea of leader-member exchange theory. LMX theory emphasizes the importance of leaders developing high-quality exchanges with all of their followers rather than just a few. The theory highlights the didactic relationship between leaders and followers and categorizes the relationship into two groups: in-group and out-group. Followers become part of one of these groups based on how well they work with the leader and how well the leader works with them. To be in the in-group, a player may have to be willing to do more, but they may receive additional benefits from the coach in return. According to theory, the in-group members are more likely to be dependable and involved, putting in extra work beyond what is required. For many athletes, this is critical to reaching their developmental potential and peak performance. Unfortunately, often many players do not fall into this in-group and thus do not receive the same benefits as their teammates. The out-group members may not put in the same level of effort during trainings and games and may not perform to their full capability. Given that soccer is a team sport, these players can be detrimental to the team's success or at least hinder the full potential of the team as a whole. In order for a coach to improve a team's performance, he must overcome these biases and look for ways to build trust and respect with all of the players, making the whole team an in-group. Let's talk about some specific tasks you can take to make all your players feel like they are part of the in-group. I will discuss 3 specific phases that you will go through. They include the stranger phase, the acquaintance phase, and the partnership phase. In this process, when you first meet the players, you are in the stranger phase. During this phase, you must take the time to set expectations for the team and lay out basic responsibilities. You should also set up one-on-one meetings with each of the players to discuss their individual goals and aspirations. The next phase is the acquaintance phase. During this part of the process, you should assign each player a specific task that she is responsible for. My college soccer coach did this very well. He had a list of roles and assigned every team member to one of those roles. These can range from giving the pep talks before games to making sure everyone is hydrated to leading warm-ups and stretches. Through a continuous process of sharing information and assigning responsibilities, you will be earning the trust of each player, and each player will begin to feel like a member of the in-group. Once a close relationship is established and you and the player can enter into a partnership phase. In this phase, you can ask the player to help run different parts of practice and to help with the strategic decisions being made. Mike reached this point with many of his players, and we took over control of certain segments of practice and had meetings to set team goals. Before I go, let me offer a few tips that will make these tasks a bit easier. First, you should create a list of minimum expectations to share with the players when you first meet them. Then, you should create a calendar so that you can plan times to meet with players throughout the year. Also, draft a list of responsibilities that could be assigned to different members of the team similar to my college coach's approach. Finally, as the season goes on, plan times during practices and warm ups in which players can take turns leading drills. Letting them take responsibility shows your trust and confidence in them at that point. Thank you for listening to my lesson for leaders today. I hope you can apply it to your team this season. If you have any stories, questions, or suggestions, comment below and let me know what you think.